I think there's going to be some more people coming in the room. So everybody that's in the room, get a little uncomfortable. Move forward a little bit so that the people that come in later can move in the back. We have some front row seats for those of you who like front row seats too. Don't look at me, look at the screen. Up there. Okay. Got a nice spot for you right next to him. All right. That's what we like, surrender. She's embarrassed. That lady that was sitting next to you today. That. Oh yeah. Huh? No. Huh? She has health problems. It changes. Wow. Wow. Wonderful. She made it like the first time coming up. Wow. That's like, that's just a triple whammy. I mean, wow. Just, tell her I said wow 6 times. Definitely would not have recognized. Definitely. I mean, but fantastic. Okay. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhotale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Prachadine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desatarine Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare. Maybe tomorrow I'll remember to have the first image you see on the screen, that image of that Vaishnava with their arms raised and calling Krishna's name, and Krishna's there smiling, and someone kneeling over here and someone praying over there. And I'm going to really like that image. So that's the arms raised, one chanting Hare Krishna together. So some of you weren't with us, but welcome to part 3. And where we ended, part 2, was Lord Nityananda breaking the danda. And he throwing the danda. First, he have a little conversation with the danda. What audacity. Who do you think you are? My Lord is going to undergo austerities carrying you through the danda way. And then where we ended was it was a pastime where Lord Chaitanya, now a sannyasi, Sri Krishna Chaitanya, saying to Nityananda, I've entrusted, you're my dearmost friend, I've entrusted the only possession I have, my danda, and you lost it. Oh, you fell on it when you were swooned in ecstasy, and so I threw it in the river. He lied. we just mentioned. And Lord Chaitanya, it was a pastime with a purpose. The pastime was, okay, I'm not going to travel with you anymore. So you go first to go see Lord Jagannath, and I'll come later, or I'll go first and you come later. No, you go first, you go first. So he could go first, and they have the pastime with Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya and all of that. That's where we ended. All glories to Lord Nityananda, the dearmost associate of Sri Gauranga. No one is equal to you in the three worlds. You are the reservoir of transcendental bliss, who bestows prema bhakti for Mahaprabhu. Those who serve you achieve pure devotional service. Oh Lord, deliver of all the fallen souls, forgiving their grave offenses. Sri Krishna Chaitanya and Sri Nityananda are the two matchless lords who appeared for the good fortune of this world. So there's Lord Nityananda seeing the dome of the Jagannath temple. And already Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has come, saw the Lord, fainted in ecstasy, was taken by Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya to his home, etc., etc. This is Lord Nityananda, like Anantashesh, holding the personality of Godhead and reviving Chaitanya Mahaprabhu on one of the occasions of his swooning in ecstasy. So the two took up residence in Jagannath Puri for some time, and daily Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would come before Lord Jagannath, stand at the Gruda Stamba, his eyes like bumblebees, the form of Jagannath like a nice flower filled with honey, and enjoying darshan of the personality of Godhead with tears streaming down his eyes. Then the two lords, eventually Lord Chaitanya had this nice place of residence, Gambhira, and arranged by King Prataparudra. And there's the servant, Govinda, assisting the two lords, or they would have prasadam together. And it had already begun. In fact, that was what Lord Nityananda was waiting for Lord Chaitanya's commencing of his congregational chanting, the Sankirtan parties continued. Classic Pushkar paint. Look at the colors. This is Pushkar. He's got his fingerprints all over the place. And many such paintings indicating the ecstasy of Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda. And there's Advaita Acharya, all enjoining together in Sankirtan. And in preparation for the Jagannath Rath Yatra, the Gundicha pastime, Lord Nityananda is being pictured here as dancing in the courtyard of the Gundicha temple. And then the Rath Yatra day itself. So many. Now, we're going to spend some time with some details, so don't be impatient with me. We'll get to some details. Because I was like a little bird sat on my shoulder and said, some more details, please. Boo-boo. More detail, please. Boo-boo. So, Sankirtan pastimes in Puri were the pages and pages and pages in Chaitanya Charitamrita and Chaitanya Bhagavat, etc. But the Rath Yatra festival, big event in Jagannath Puri. And many nice ISKCON paintings depicting the same. There's the Jagannath temple in the background as they're heading for where the deities will stay for some time, Gundicha. a nice painting. It really doesn't have anything to do with Lord Nityananda. But these two, Swarup Damodar and Ramananda Roy, with the servant Govinda in the background, and they're taking the association of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And we know who these personalities are in Krishna Lila, right? Who are they? Louder. Lalita and Vishaka. Doesn't look like Lalita and Vishaka, but it's Gaur Lila. But that same personality, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna himself in the mood of Srimati Radharani, in the complexion of Radharani. So there's the three now in the Prabhu form, but in the mood, the ecstatic mood of Radharani and her principal associates. During that period of time when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his associates were in Puri, there's a nice section from Nityananda Charitamrita by Vrindavan Das Thakur. So we're going to cover 3 chapters and a little bit of detail, not too much. It starts with chapter 5 in the Antya Lila section, where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu became inspired that he made a request of Lord Nityananda that I would like you, along with 5 avadutas like you, to go with you and spread the holy name all over, not just in Puri and not just in Bengal, but all over. So, not wanting separation from Lord Chaitanya, but wanting to follow his instruction, Lord Nityananda went, and as the description goes, they're transcendental madmen. They would go here and go there and dance as madmen would dance as madmen, and loudly, roaringly call the holy name and induce people. Now, in this chapter, as was the case during the time of Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda, there were Muslim rulers in different places. And some of the Muslim rulers were kind of friendly, and some of them were not friendly at all. So there's a very detailed description in this chapter of Gadadhar Das, distinct from Gadadhar Pandit. And he was infused with the avaduta-ness of Lord Nityananda. So he heard, Gadadhar Das heard, in this particular town, there's a Qazi that he's really cruel. When he finds Vaishnavas, he's merciless. So he thought, great, let's go visit him. Because it was a whole long description of bringing all types of people, of all types of backgrounds, including Muslim backgrounds, to the position of worshiping the holy name of the Lord. So Gadadhar Das, in the dead of night, he went into the Qazi's house. And in the Qazi's house, he started calling the names of the Supreme Lord very loudly. And the Qazi came to his balcony and looked over the balcony and saw this crazy fellow downstairs. And, he was stunned. He's a madman. He can kill him in a second. But the ecstasy of Gadadhar Das was overwhelming him. He just was amazed. And who are you and what do you want? And he raised his arms and said, I've come with a very important message. I want you to sing the names of Sri Hari, in complete abandon and ecstasy and madness. And so the Qazi looked at him and said, come back tomorrow, and tomorrow I'll chant the name of Hari. So, you've chanted the name of Hari? And he danced out the courtyard. His spiritual life had begun. That's chapter 5. And the whole rest of they continued traveling and continued traveling, and one place he went back to Ekachakra, and then from Ekachakra he went to Saptagram. This is chapter 6. What's Saptagram? Saptagram is a place where the Saptarishis resided and underwent austerities and achieved spiritual perfection. They were rishis, but they achieved spiritual perfection, means love for Govinda. They achieved that in Saptagram. And it's a place where the confluence of 3 rivers, the Triveni, flow. So Lord Nityananda and his associates took their sacred bath in that place. And while there in Saptagram, it was known that there were a lot of merchants, and he showed special favor to the merchants. Nityananda, went door to door and at each merchant's home, and wasn't begging alms, he was begging the chanting of the holy names of the Lord. And he was in such a state of ecstasy that they began chanting the holy names of the Lord throughout the whole of Saptagram. And after doing this for some number of days, he then went not so far away to the place where Advaita Acharya resides. And when he went to the place where Advaita Acharya resides, Advaita Acharya instantly knew who he was. They hadn't met before, but he instantly knew who he was. And the description is fantastic. I mean, there's a whole series of wonderful prayers in where Advaita Acharya is describing the glories of Lord Nityananda, including who he was in Ram Lila, who he was in Krishna Lila, and now you're as Nityananda, and you're the chief associate of Lord Chaitanya. And he was rolling on the ground like a madman. You're one madman if you turned me into a madman. And then finally he became calm. And because Advaita Acharya is a householder, he offered alms, a meal, and they sat together and discussed topics about Krishna for some number of days. And then following that comes another very nice description. Nityananda is traveling. So he went to Navadvip from where Advaita Acharya resides, not far. And in Navadvip, he met Mother Sachi. And Mother Sachi had love for Lord Nityananda because she had known him from some years before Mahaprabhu took sannyas. And so she treated him with, superlative motherly affection. And she made this appeal to Nityananda. I'm feeling such joy and I'm feeling such separation from my son. Can you remain and be my son? Or at least, come monthly or come weekly, or, and Lord Nityananda said, you're my eternal mother. Whatever you say, I'll do. If you want me to stay here, I'll stay here. Of course, he didn't stay. And as he stayed, he then traveled here and traveled there. And because he was Lord Nityananda, he was being honored by the residents of Navadvip in various ways. They would bring flower garlands and nice turbans and ornaments of gold and bangles, and he would decorate himself with sandalwood pulp and woo, opulent, super opulent. So much so that there was a used to be Brahmana who had now become a number one burglar, thief, and he had a little band of thieves. And they thought, led by their chief Brahmana, so-called Brahmana commander, let's plunder this wealth. And then they were dividing it up. I'll take this and you take that, and they had their whole plan. So there's a very long chapter describing what happened. So Nityananda, accepted residence at the home of Hiranya Pandit. Now, Pandit means he's a Brahmana, and Hiranya Pandit liked seclusion, so his cottage was a little far away from everything else. And that was very nice for him, to Hiranya Pandit, and Nityananda was happy also. So he was taking rest. The bandits knew he was having a big meal, and after his big meal, he'll be sound asleep, and will attack then. They had their weapons and hid behind the bushes, and as fate would have it, they fell fast asleep. Nidra Devi took care of them. And when the sun came up in the morning and they realized that they had fallen fast asleep, they were complaining to one another, it's your fault, it's your fault, it's your fault, people. And then they made their plan for the next day. And the next day is what this painting or this particular drawing shows. Outside the house of Hiranya Pandit, there were many armed guards with sharp weapons and marching up and down. And so the thieves were asking themselves, where do you get these guards? Maybe somebody tipped him off and we were planning to plunder him, so he hired some guards, and these are big guys, and so what are we going to do? They have their weapons, there are more of them, and their weapons are big, and so they spent the night waiting to see if there would be an opportunity when the guards weren't present, but the guards were there the whole time. And then came night number 3. And when night number 3 came, I'm going to read. It's too sweet to just try to properly narrate. Oh, here it is. As soon as they got near the Lord's house, they suddenly became blind and could not see a thing. This sudden blindness so shocked the thieves that their mind, intelligence, and life airs almost ceased to function. One fell in a trench that was covered by mosquitoes, leeches, and gadflies. Another fell into the pit where people washed their hands after eating. Scorpions and bugs also bit him. Another thief fell on a heap of thorns. He suffered miserably from pricking of the thorns. He couldn't move. Another fell in a ditch, broke his hands and legs. Some of the thieves got very high fever. They were totally perplexed. Something mystical, right? At that time, Indra, the king of heaven, happily sent forth showers of rain and storm. First, the thieves were tortured by the bites of leeches and bugs. Now they suffered hailstorms. They did not die, but floated in the ocean of miseries. The force of the wind, heavy hail, thundering rendered them unconscious. The intense rain completely soaked the thieves. And feeling extremely cold, they shivered uncontrollably. They lay blindly suffering. Since the thieves came to plunder Nityananda Prabhu, Indra, the king of heaven, angrily tortured them very severely. Don't mess with Nityananda. That's the lesson. I was asked, make sure you tell what's the punchline. What's the lesson we're supposed to learn from this? Don't mess with Nityananda. Don't think of Nityananda as someone ordinary. We're going to hear a little bit further as we go along. And this happened. So the chief of the Brahmanas, after these 3, he reiterates again this and then this and then this. He's not an ordinary person. He's a supreme person. And he went to the place where Nityananda was resting. He woke him up and fell at his feet and offered beautiful prayers and, please forgive me for my terrible offenses. This was my plan. Lord Nityananda just smiled. He said, I know your plan. Here, have my garland. And, he transformed this thief, so-called Brahmana, into a great devotee. And then the other thieves, the other people of the village knew who was up to. And they were amazed at his transformation. And they became devotees. It's a little bit like Jagai Madhai, but less celebrated than the Jagai Madhai story. And then while residing in Navadvip, whoops, something happened. This is my computer. While residing in Navadvip, he, Lord Nityananda, made the acquaintance of one Brahmana. And this was a scene where the Brahmana had faith in Lord Chaitanya, but he didn't have faith in Lord Nityananda because he's this avaduta personality. And so he was troubled. And everyone was honoring Lord Nityananda, and he's troubled. Look at how this fellow behaves. After some time, he went from Navadvip to Jagannath Puri. As you see in the background, there's the dome of the Jagannath temple, and there's the shave-headed Lord Chaitanya meeting with the Brahmana. The Brahmana had a relationship of service and affection with Lord Chaitanya, so he met with Lord Chaitanya when he went to Puri, and was asking, can you explain this personality to me? The Brahmana said, I'd like to ask something, if you'll allow me. If you really think me your servant, then please answer my question. I don't understand. What is this Nityananda Avadut doing in Navadvip? Everyone says that he's a sannyasi, but to everyone's surprise, he chews betel nuts with camphor. A sannyasi is not supposed to touch gold and so on, but Nityananda decorates his whole body with gold, silver, and pearls. Abandoning coping and saffron robes, he dresses with fine and gorgeous clothing. Sandalwood pulp and paste on his body. Why does he carry an iron stick instead of a sannyas danda? He always mingles with Shudras. I don't find his behavior in accordance with the scriptures. So I have a doubt. Everyone is addressing him as an exalted person, but he doesn't follow the rules and regulations of his ashram. Please explain. So here's the explanation. Part of the reason for this nice chapter is Lord Chaitanya's explanation of the behavior of Nityananda. Would you like to hear? Say yes. Okay, thank you. Listen, my dear Brahmana. Faults or defects do not affect an exalted person. Confirmed in the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 11, Chapter 20, he quotes the verse, material piety and sin, which arise from the good and evil of this world, cannot exist within my unalloyed devotees, Uddhava Gita, right? Who, being freed from material hankerings, maintain steady spiritual consciousness in all circumstances. Indeed, such devotees have achieved me, the Supreme Lord, who am beyond anything that can be conceived by material intelligence. And he gives another scriptural reference. As water doesn't touch a lotus leaf, so too no faults touch Nityananda Swarup, O Brahmana. Know that Krishna Chandra eternally resides in Nityananda's body. Those disregarding an exalted person will suffer miseries and reap sinful reactions. The Puranas say that if anyone other than Lord Shiva drinks poison, he will surely die. In the Bhagavatam, Shukadeva Goswami, Canto 10, Chapter 33. The status of powerful controllers, Shukadeva Goswami says, is not harmed by any apparently audacious transgression of morality we may see in them, for they are just like fire which devours everything fed into it and remains unpolluted. Next verse. One who is not a great controller should never imitate the behavior of ruling personalities, even mentally. If out of foolishness an ordinary person does imitate such behavior, he will simply destroy himself, just as a person who is not Rudra would destroy himself if he tried to drink an ocean of poison. Those who criticize an exalted person without knowing his glories suffer miseries life after life from this fault. If an exalted person does something improper, what to speak of criticizing him? If one even laughs at him, such person is doomed. Srimad Bhagavatam describes all these truths. One can also hear this from the mouth of a bona fide spiritual master. Listen attentively to the results of laughing at the behavior of an exalted person described in Srimad Bhagavatam. Once, this is Lord Chaitanya to the Brahmana. Once Krishna and Balaram went to the ashram of Sandipani Muni to study. After completing their studies, they wanted to go home. They asked their teacher, "What dakshina should we give?" After consulting his wife, the teacher asked Krishna and Balaram to bring back his dead son. Krishna and Balaram started at once to the abode of Yamaraj. After destroying all the child's karma, they brought the boy back to their teacher from the abode of Yamaraj. When Devaki heard of this most wonderful incident, she too asked Krishna to bring back her dead sons. One day, Devaki addressed Krishna and Balaram pathetically. "Listen, Krishna and Balaram, you're the lords of the mystic perfections. You're both the eternal personalities of Godhead. Both of you are the fathers of the entire universe. I know that both of you are the cause of all causes," etc., etc. "I too have a great desire to see my 6 sons who were killed by Kamsa. Though the son of your teacher died long ago, you brought him back by your extraordinary potency. So both of you, please fulfill my desire and bring back my 6 sons." After hearing Mother Devaki's request, Krishna and Balaram, this is Lord Chaitanya to the Brahmana, left at once for the abode of Bali Maharaj. When Bali Maharaj saw his own worshipable lords, he emerged in the ocean of transcendental bliss. He promptly surrendered everything, including his house, children, body, wealth, and friends at the lotus feet of Krishna. In ecstasy, his hair stood on end. Tears of love flowed from his eyes, and he shivered in bliss. He caught hold of Krishna's lotus feet and began to offer prayers. There's a long list of prayers. Holding the feet of Krishna and Balaram within his heart, Bali Maharaj offered prayers. Bali Maharaj and his family members drank and touched the heads with water that washed the lotus feet of the Lord and immensely felt themselves fortunate. "O Lord, please instruct me if you really think me to be your servant. Anyone who follows your instructions reaches the abode beyond the jurisdiction of rules and regulations." Lord Krishna, exceedingly pleased with Bali, began to explain the reason for his visit. The Lord said, "Listen, O Bali Maharaj, the sinful Kamsa killed my mother's 6 sons. Thus, he also finally died. Remembering her sons, Mother Devaki continually cries in lamentation, the 6 sons are with you, and I want to take them back for the pleasure of my mother. Those 6 sons are actually perfected demigods, grandsons of Lord Brahma. Let me explain to you why they had to undergo such tribulations. And it has to do with, offending an exalted person. You want to hear it? Okay. These 6 sons were previously the sons of Prajapati Marichi, a son of Brahma. Once, Brahma was bewildered by lusty desires and shamelessly chased his own daughter. Seeing the behavior of Brahma, the 6 sons of Marichi laughed at him. Because of this fault, they at once fell from their positions. Since they ridiculed the activities of an exalted person, they were forced to take birth among demons. Leaving their demigod bodies, they took birth in the family of Hiranyakashipu, who terrorized the entire universe. They suffered various miseries and were ultimately killed by the thunderbolt of Indra, by the arrangement of Yogamaya. These 6 sons of Marichi took birth from the womb of Devaki simply by laughing at Brahma's misbehavior. They incurred so many sinful reactions. They, thus, had to undergo these punishments. From their birth, they suffered unlimited distress. They were nephews of Kamsa. He killed them. Devaki was unaware of these mysteries. So she simply cries, considering them her own sons. I wish to return those 6 sons to my mother. That's why I've come here to you. Drinking milk from Devaki's breast will release these 6 from Brahma's curse. Lord Krishna confirmed. Oh, Bali, consider the consequences of ridiculing a Vaishnav. If perfect personalities like these receive so much misery, what will be the fate of an ordinary man? A sinner who criticizes the Vaishnava suffers misery, birth after birth. Take this lesson to your heart. Never blaspheme or laugh at a Vaishnava. If one worships me and chants my holy name but blasphemes the devotees, he'll be vanquished. Those who show love and respect to my devotees will surely obtain my favor. There's no doubt about it. Vishnu Purana references, Hari Bhakti Surodaya references. He goes on. In short, O Brahmana, I've explained the topics of Srimad Bhagavatam to you. Don't maintain the slightest doubt about Nityananda Swarup. He is the most exalted personality. Unfortunate people are unable to understand him, accept his uncommon activities. Then you'll surely be delivered. He incarnated simply to deliver the fallen souls. He liberate all living beings. His dealings are above all rules and regulations. Who has the power to understand him? Anyone who blasphemes Nityananda without knowing his unfathomable qualities, even if that person has achieved Vishnu Bhakti, he's doomed. O Brahmana, go back to Navadvip and explain this truth to everyone. If anyone blasphemes Nityananda Prabhu in any way, no one will be able to protect that person from Yamaraj's punishment. One who loves him actually loves me. I'm telling you the truth. Even if Nityananda marries a Muslim girl or enters a wine shop, he is worshipable by Lord Brahma. That is my verdict. Don't mess with Nityananda. The Lord's words made the pious Brahmana very happy. He gained immense faith in the lotus feet of Nityananda, returned to Navadvip. Arriving in Navadvip, the fortunate Brahmana first went to Nityananda Prabhu's house. He begged forgiveness for his offenses from Nityananda, who fully bestowed his mercy on him. Such are the dealings of Nityananda Swarup. It's a good place to end, huh? But we're not done yet. Yeah. So here, this is a painting or a drawing to illustrate Lord Chaitanya then informing Nityananda, I want you to get married. And Nityananda didn't like that idea. He said, your primary associates are all renunciates, and you want me to get married. First you send me away to go traveling Sankirtan, and then you want me to get married? You want to get rid of me? What's going on? But Lord Chaitanya said, that's just, I see you that way. And so he accepted. And off he went to get married. And one of the places he went, we heard this already yesterday, maybe it was this morning. Suryadas Sarakale had a brother. What was his brother's name? Goridas Pandit. Goridas Pandit had a brother. His name is Suryadas Sarakale. They were brothers. We're not used to these names, many of us, but I was saying them several times. You might. So they're brothers, and they're brahmanas, and so a marriage proposal was placed before Suryadas. He had 2 daughters, and the proposal was, we would like your daughter. You know, a marriage broker kind of personality went to Suryadas. Would you be willing to have your 2 daughters entrusted in marriage to Lord Nityananda? And he's like, let me think about it. And he was advised, Lord Nityananda is not ordinary. Don't hesitate. You may not understand him. That's okay. Don't hesitate. And various arguments, and so the marriage took place. This is a photograph of their sitting place. You see underneath that tree over there on the left side of the photograph, there's a sign with a little yellow signboard that said this is where they sat after their wedding. There is the place where they sat after their wedding. And I don't think they sat inside that little box, but commemorates the place where they sat. And inside, that's the imprint of Lord Nityananda's lotus feet. It's a very celebrated place in the house of Suryadas Sarakale. And, the house means this big courtyard and the complex. So the 2 sisters, and one of those 2 sisters became a very, very, very celebrated Vaishnavi. And just check this. A very nice devotee somewhere is going to prepare a presentation on the life of Janava for her April 25th. We're doing things ahead of time these days. Just like Nityananda's appearance day isn't right around the corner. It's later this month, but that's okay. You'll be all revved up, and he's already got a PowerPoint presentation made, ready in the works for Nityananda's appearance day, and rah rah rah, Lord Nityananda. So you'll be hearing more about Lord Nityananda when it comes to his appearance day. But Janava was one of the daughters of Suryadas Sarakale, and Vasudha was the other. And here's a very old form of the 2 sisters and Nityananda, a little more nicely dressed here. And in a different temple, this is how they're nicer forms of the deities and how they're nicely dressed. The same blue dhoti that is characteristic of Lord Nityananda and his 2 wives. And one son was born, the Virabhadra. And that became, an issue. Virabhadra was a grahastha, and he had children. So there's the Nityananda Vamsa story, as if one becomes, qualified to be, a great acharya by being a seminal descendant of someone. And it's still going on. There are different versions of how that's still going on. But so in the place where Nityananda and his family resided. Now, going forward, Nityananda, now as a householder, had a very important role to play in the lives of Vaishnavas. This is a painting illustrating. Every year, the devotees from Navadvip, at the time of Jagannath Rath Yatra, leading up to the Rath Yatra, they would take a pilgrimage. There's no train. Now there's a train, but they would walk. Hundreds of devotees together walking from West Bengal to Puri. And when they would travel from West Bengal to Puri, try it sometime. Take care of an entourage of several hundred people, for accommodations for them to stay and the meals for them to eat. And at that time, there was, different governances. They had to cross tracts of land where they had to pay taxes, and they were military from Muslims, and it was a dangerous journey and very costly. And one occasion, so Shivananda Sain took that responsibility, like the village elder person. And one time he got delayed. He was taking care of some taxes and some tolls and some this and some that. And Nityananda was hungry. So when Shivananda Sain came, Lord Nityananda kicked him in the chest. What kind of organizer are you? Avadutas do strange things sometimes. So the wife of Shivananda Sain was shocked. And, went crying to her husband. Whoa, boo-hoo, what's he doing? You're sacrificing and this and that. And he said, no, you don't understand, Nityananda. He was giving mercy. He placed his lotus foot in my chest. I'm so merciful. Please stop crying. Everything is, it's mercy. And that's how Shivananda Sain understood. And that's how one should understand not when somebody kicks you in the chest, but when Nityananda does some egregious avaduta-like behavior, you're a recipient of good fortune. That's a lesson. Whoops, we'll going backwards. So one of the topics, it's 7 classes. So this is class number 3. One of the classes is going to be just on the topic of Lord Nityananda as Guru Tattva. And one of the things that Guru Tattva function does is he gives the message of Lord Chaitanya, the name of Lord Chaitanya, the message of Krishna, and shelter at the lotus feet of Lord Chaitanya. So we'll hear in length, not now, please, how Raghunath Das Goswami was having difficulty because of his family situation in getting the shelter of Lord Chaitanya. And he tried this and tried that and tried the other thing and tried the other thing. And it didn't work because his father was more clever and stopped him from running away and joining Lord Chaitanya. And then Raghunath Das understood, I didn't get the mercy of Lord Nityananda. I'm not going to get the association of Lord Chaitanya without the mercy of Lord Nityananda. And so at a certain place in Panihati, so we'll hear the Panihati pastime at length, he heard Lord Nityananda is there. So see the fellow paying his prostrated obeisances before Nityananda. Guess who that is? Raghunath Das Goswami. And what did Lord Nityananda do? He put his foot on his head. Like another punishment, right? Who are you trying to hide from? I want to punish you. You have to serve all the Vaishnavas. The punishment is you serve the Sunday feast. That's an honor, but it's a punishment. Chipped rice and it's a festival. So because he was the son of a very wealthy man, he got all the ingredients and this and that and the other thing and served all the devotees. And at the end, he, Lord Nityananda, engaged in kirtan. And when there was tumultuous kirtan by the side of the river, Lord Chaitanya came, who's attracted when there's the kirtan of Lord Nityananda. He makes his appearance. We'll hear shortly. He makes his appearance wherever the kirtan of Lord Nityananda is. And he then Nityananda granted residence and association of Lord Chaitanya. Just go to Puri. And he'll expect you. So that's what happened. By the mercy of Nityananda, he got the chance to serve all the Vaishnavas and receive the mercy of Lord Chaitanya. So here's a nice verse from Chaitanya Charitamrita with lettering that I changed it 20 times and it keeps getting misplaced. What to do? Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu always appeared in 4 places. In the household temple of Mother Sachi, in the places where Sri Nityananda Prabhu danced, in the house of Srivas Pandit during congregational chanting, and in the house of Raghava Pandit. He appeared because of his attraction to the devotees' love, the love of his devotees. That is his natural characteristic. So here's a nice illustration of Lord Nityananda dancing and Lord Chaitanya appearing. Like, how did he appear? He appeared as he would. It was as if he was standing there. Can you see from over there? Oh, you're looking at somebody's. Okay. Clever. This is a pastime that is Krishnadas Kaviraj narrating. We're going to hear in detail, so I'm not going to do it now, but this I'll summarize. Krishnadas Kaviraj is describing the glories of Lord Nityananda in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi Lila chapter 5. The glories of Nityananda. And at the end, the author, Krishnadas Kaviraj, tells he says something very nice. He said, normally one would not disclose this, but here I go, I'm going to disclose it anyways, because I want the glories of Lord Nityananda to be clearly understood. And so Nityananda had a disciple named Miniketan Ram, and the disciple Miniketan Ram was visiting Krishnadas Kaviraj and his brother. And in his brother, the brother had a brahmana in their home doing some puja. And when Miniketan Ram came, he was behaving like an Avadhuta behaves. Wild and this and that and the other thing. And because the Brahmana, Gunarnava Mishra, had respect for Lord Nityananda, Lord Chaitanya, but not for Nityananda, and he was engaged in his deity worship, he ignored Nityananda. Everyone else, when they saw him, was like, this is Lord Nityananda. He lifted everybody's spirits except the priest. And he just kept worshiping his deity, which is a normal thing that one would do. Once deity worship begins, you continue deity worship till it's completed. I'm going to tell a little Prabhupada story. You want to hear a Prabhupada story? Say yes. This is the Henry Street Temple, and Prabhupada came unexpectedly. Normally, they would have devotees go to greet Prabhupada at the airport, and then some devotees would be at the temple to greet him when he came into the temple. But it got a little confusing, and he came in. He got to the temple before everybody else was there to greet him, so he went straight away from the front door into the temple room. And when he went into the temple room, Rukmini was performing arti. And there she was doing arti, and she knows once you start, that's it, you don't stop. And then there she's, the step was just a little bit up, a white marble step up, and then the altar. So she's on the platform of the altar doing arti, and here comes Prabhupada. So what to do? He didn't know what to do, but she did the right thing. Then she had Prabhupada. So she got off, she stopped, got off the altar, paid obeisances to Prabhupada, got back on the altar, and continued arti, And then later she asked Prabhupada, did I do the right thing? And he said, yes. And then gave this example. So Gunarnava Mishra didn't stop. And the brother, Shamadas, was Krishnadas's brother, Shamadas, and Shamadas sided with the Brahmana. And so Krishnadas Kaviraj rebuked both of them, the Gunarnava Mishra, the Brahmana, and his brother, and scolded them severely. You have faith in Lord Chaitanya, same point. You have faith in Lord Chaitanya, but you don't have faith in Nityananda because he's an Avaduta. You don't understand this personality, and you'll both fall down because of this offense to Nityananda. Lesson: don't mess with Nityananda. Don't mess with Nityananda. Honor Nityananda. Even if you don't understand, that's okay. Don't offend him. Understand that the position, as we heard Lord Chaitanya describe the position of such a personality, and gave with this example and the other example from Scripture to explain, don't make that mistake. So in the end of Adi Leela chapter 5, Krishnadas says, my brother fell down. And in a dream that night, the very night that I chastised my brother and Gunarnava Mishra, Lord Nityananda appeared in his dream. So that's what the painting is. Lord Nityananda was very pleased, and he's pointing to Vrindavan. You see where his right hand had to Vrindavan immediately. So that night he didn't even wake up. Didn't wait till the morning came. He just that moment he left for Vrindavan, and by that mercy of Nityananda, we'll hear more of that detail later. When he went to Vrindavan, he got the association of many exalted Vaishnavas that qualified him to be able to write Chaitanya Charitamrita. He got starting with the association of Raghunath Das Goswami, who was assigned to go to Vrindavan by Lord Chaitanya, and Raghunath Das Goswami happened to have a copy of the diary or the Kadachas of Swarup Damodar. And Swarup Damodar was giving guidance and training, etc., to Raghunath Das while he was in Puri. And he gave him his diary. So that diary became the starting point of the biography of Lord Chaitanya's life. And it's right in the very beginning of Adi Leela. The first 14 verses are just extracted from his diary. And then the rest of the 14 verses become large sections of Adi Leela to explain this, and then the pastimes and so forth. So he got Lord by Nityananda's mercy, he got Lord Chaitanya's mercy and the association of exalted Vaishnavas. So Don't offend. Don't mess with Nityananda, and render very faithful service. Similarly, you recognize this painting. This is Jiva Goswami. After his father died, he wanted to go to Navadvip and to see the places of Lord Chaitanya's pastimes. Nityananda, omniscient Nityananda knew, and he met before Jiva Goswami even made it to Navadvip, and he met him, and he described what you see in the painting. You know, the Temple of Vedic Planetarium. Only he didn't say it that way. Prabhupada did, and one day a big temple will rise in Navadvip, and Nityananda, took Jiva Goswami on pilgrimage to all the places of Lord Chaitanya's pastimes in Navadvip. Imagine that. And then he sent him on to take shelter of Jiva to Rupa and Sanatan. He made a little pit stop for some number of years under Madhusudana Saraswati, and qualified himself because he was a young boy when his father died. So by the mercy of Nityananda, he got the mercy of Lord Chaitanya. So now we're going to end. This is, you remember from the very first day, we saw the deity of Bankim Roy. So this is the deity that Lord Nityananda is holding in his arms, and later he enters into the body of the deity. That's how he departed this world. Pretty spectacular. It's appropriate for Lord Nityananda. So that's the end of this 3-part presentation. The plan is to go back, and some of the pastimes that we covered very, quickly, we'll go a little more elaborately, a little more slowly. And these two lords are very important, certainly for all the followers of the Hare Krishna movement, but to understand both of them, not just Lord Chaitanya, but Lord Nityananda. Here's Srila Prabhupada. All glories to Nityananda Prabhu, who is an ocean of mercy. Nice painting. And we're going to, Krishna is very kind. Someone's going to sing for us. You going to one? You're going to sing for us? Go ahead. Take the harmonium. We have 2 songs. They have the words on the screen in just a moment. Nitai Pada Kamala by Narottam Das Thakur, because he was a great devotee of Lord Nityananda. Wait. They're going to give her another microphone. You're going to have to hold the microphone. Is that good? Better than a phone, right? Bigger.
Nitai Pada Kamala Koti Chandra Sushitala Nitai Pada Kamala Koti Chandra Sushitala Jaya Jagata Jura Jaya Jagata Jura দৃঢ় কৰি ধাৰো নিতাই পাৰ गेलो Shariya Satya re satya kori mani Asatya re satya Kori mani चरण सत्या ताहर pada sada koro asha. Narotama borodhuki nitai more koro suki. Rakho ranga charane rapasha. Rakho ranga charane rapasha. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama Rama,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Translation. The lotus feet of Lord Nityananda are a shelter where one will get the soothing moonlight of not only one, but of millions of moons. If the Lord wants to have real peace, it should take shelter of Lord Nityananda. Unless one takes shelter under the shade of the lotus feet of Nityananda, it will be very difficult for him to approach Radha Krishna. If one actually wants to enter into the dancing party of Radha Krishna, he must firmly catch hold of the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda. Anyone who has not established his relationship with Nityananda Prabhu is understood to have spoiled his valuable human birth. Such a human being is actually an uncontrollable animal. Because he never uttered the holy name of Nityananda, he has become merged into so-called material happiness. What can his useless education and family tradition do to help him? Being maddened after false prestige and identification with the body, one is thinking, oh, what is this Nityananda? What can he do for me? I don't care. The result is that he is accepting something false to be true. If you actually want to approach the association of Radha Krishna, you must first achieve the mercy of Lord Nityananda. When he is merciful toward you, then you'll be able to approach Radha Krishna. Therefore, you should firmly grasp the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda. The lotus feet of Nityananda are not illusion, they're fact. One who engages in the transcendental loving service of Nityananda is also transcendental. Always try to catch the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda. This Narottama Das Thakur, Narottama Das, is very unhappy. Therefore, I am praying to Lord Nityananda to make me happy. My dear Lord, please keep me close to your lotus feet. And there are multiple songs. There's one more that we'll see about singing together. That's this song from Gitavali by Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Do you know the song? Yes? Oh, very good.
नादिया गोद्रु में नित्यानंद महाजन पाटियचे नाम हट जीवेरा करा नादिया गोद्रु में नित्यानंद महाजन पाटियचे नाम हट जीवेरा करा श्रद्धावान जान है श्रद्धावान जान है श्रद्धावान जान है श्रद्धावान जान है पाटियचे नाम हट जीवेरा करा पाटियचे नाम हट जीवेरा करा नादिया गोद्रु में नित्यानंद महाजन पाटियचे नाम हट जीवेरा करा
नित्यानंद महाजन नाम हट जीवेरा करा
प्रभु राज्ञाय भाई मागे भिक्षा बोलो कृष्ण भजो कृष्ण करो कृष्ण शिक्षा
बोलो कृष्ण भजो कृष्ण करो कृष्ण शिक्षा
बोलो कृष्ण भजो कृष्ण करो कृष्ण शिक्षा
बोलो कृष्ण भजो कृष्ण
नादिया गोद्रु में नित्यानंद महाजन पाटियचे नाम हट जीवेरा करा
नादिया गोद्रु में नित्यानंद महाजन पाटियचे नाम हट जीवेरा करा
नादिया गोद्रु में नित्यानंद महाजन पाटियचे नाम हट जीवेरा करा
नादिया गोद्रु में नित्यानंद महाजन पाटियचे नाम हट जीवेरा करा
अपराध शून्य होय लोहे कृष्ण नाम
aparada shunya hoy loh Krishna naam.
aparada shunya hoy loh Krishna naam.
Aparada shunya hoy loh Krishna naam.
Krishna Mata, Krishna Pita, Krishna Dana Pran.
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 Nadiya, Nadiya Godru mein Nityananda Mahajan. Patiya che nama hata jivera karan.
Nadiya, Nadiya Godru mein Nityananda Mahajan. Patiya che nama hata jivera karan.
Nadiya, Nadiya Godru mein Nityananda Mahajan. Patiya che nama hata jivera karan.
Nadiya, Nadiya Godru mein Nityananda Mahajan. Patiya che nama hata jivera karan.
Krishna ra samsara koro chariya nachar.
Krishna samsara koran chariya anchar.
Krishna ra samsara koro chariya nachar.
Krishna
Koro chariya nachar. Jive doya Krishna nama sarva dharma sar.
Jivaya Krishna nama sarva dharma sar.
Jive doya Krishna nama sarva dharma sar.
Jivaya Krishna nama sarva dharma sar.
Nadiya, Nadiya Godru mein Nityananda Mahajan. Patiya che nama hata jivera karan.
Nadiya, Nadiya Godru mein Nityananda Mahajan. Patiya che nama hata jivera karan.
Nadiya, Nadiya Godru mein Nityananda Mahajan. Patiya che nama hata jivera karan.
Nadiya, Nadiya Godru mein Nityananda Mahajan. Patiya che nama hata jivera. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Krishna Krishna Hare Hare.
Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Hare Rama Hare Rama.
Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Jaya Nityananda Ram, Nityananda Ram, Nityananda Ram, Jaya Nityananda Ram.
Jaya Nityananda Ram, Nityananda Ram, Nityananda Ram, Jaya Nityananda Ram.
Jaya Nityananda Ram, Nityananda Ram, Nityananda Ram, Jaya Nityananda Ram.
Jaya Nityananda Ram, Nityananda Ram, Nityananda Ram, Jaya Nityananda Ram.
Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada.
Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Waiting for that little boy to fall off his perch. Okay, translation. This is the title of the song, Nadia Godrume Nityananda Mahajan, from Bhaktivinoda Thakur's Gitavali. In the land of Nadia, on the island of Godruma, the magnanimous Lord Nityananda has opened up the marketplace of the holy name meant for the deliverance of all fallen souls. Oh, people of faith. Oh, people of faith. By the order of Lord Gauranga, oh brothers, I beg these 3 requests of you. Chant Hare Krishna, or chant Krishna. Worship Krishna and teach others about Krishna. Bolo Krishna, Bhajo Krishna, Koro Krishna Shikha. Being careful to remain free of offenses. Just take the holy name of Lord Krishna. Krishna is your mother. Krishna is your father. Krishna is the treasure of your life. Giving up all sinful activities. Carry on your worldly duties only in relation to Lord Krishna. The showing of compassion to other souls by loudly chanting the holy name of Krishna is the essence of all forms of religion. So that's the end of part 3. There's
भजे नित्यानन्दं भजनतरुकन्दं निरवधि रसानामागारं स्वजनगणसर्वस्वमतुलं तदीयैकप्राण प्रमितवसुधा जाह्नवपतिम् सदा प्रेमोन्मादम्
It's good.
परमविदितं मन्दमनसा भजे नित्यानन्दं भजनतरुकन्दं निरवधि शशीसूनुप्रेष्ठं निखिलजगदीष्टं सुखमयम् कलौ मज्जज्जीवोद्धरणकरणोद्दामकरुणम् हरेराख्यानाद्वा भवजलधिकर्मोन्नतिहरम् भजे नित्यानन्दं भजनतरुकन्दं निरवधि अये भ्रातरनृणां कलिकलुषिणां किं नु भविता तथा प्रायश्चित्तं रचय यदनायासतै मे व्रजन्ति त्वामित्थं सह भगवता मन्त्रयति यो भजे नित्यानन्दं भजनतरुकन्दं निरवधि यथेष्टं रे भ्रातः कुरु हरिहरिध्यानिमनिशम् ततो वः संसारां बुधितरणदायो मयि लगेत् इदं बाहुस्फोटैरटतिरटयन् यः प्रतिगृहम् भजे नित्यानन्दं भजनतरुकन्दं निरवधि बलात् संसाराम्भो निधिहरणकुम्भोद्भवमहो सतां श्रेयस्सिन्धून्नतिकुमुदबन्धो समुदितम् खलश्रेणीस्फूर्जत् तिमिरहरसूर्यप्रभमहम् भजे नित्यानन्दम् भजनतरुकन्दं निरवधि नटन्तं गायन्तं हरिमनुवदन्तं पथि पथि व्रजन्तं पश्यन्तं स्वमपि नदयन्तं जनगणम् प्रकुर्वन्तं सन्तं सकरुणदृगन्तं प्रकलनात् भजे नित्यानन्दं भजनतरुकन्दं निरवधि सुबिभ्राणं भ्रातुः करसरसिजं कोमलतरम् मिथो वक्त्रालोकोच्छलितपरमानन्दहृदयम् भ्रमन्तं माधुर्यैरहमदयन्तं पुरजनान् भजे नित्यानन्दं भजनतरुकन्दं निरवधि रसानामाधारं रसिकवरसद्वैष्णवधनं रसागारं सारं पतितततितारं स्मरणतः परं नित्यानन्दाष्टकमिदमपूर्वं पठति यस् तदङ्घ्रिद्वन्द्वाब्जं स्फुरतु नितरां तस्य हृदये तदङ्घ्रिद्वन्द्वाब्जं स्फुरतु नितरां तस्य हृदये
Nityananda Prabhu ki jai. And we're not there yet. Discussion? The Alachua type of unlimited discussion? Yes? I will.
Thank you. Thank you for the wonderful lecture with the beautiful visuals. If there's one thing I took away from the class, it is not to mess with Lord Nityananda. And by extension, similarly exalted Vaishnavas and personalities.
Yes, exactly.
However, I wanted to ask, how do we discern who is an avaduta and who is
madman?
Yes, because from my lowly entangled position, for example, seeing Lord Brahma's activities, it seems like that was objectively a bad thing, and thus unfair that the 6 demigods were punished so. So my question is, how do we discern who is who?
You want an easy answer?
I want all the answers.
Scripture, and in simple language, other than, a Shastra gives us the characteristics of saintly person. And sinful activity of Lord Brahma was sinful activity. It's not so. The consistency. I recommend that you read this chapter 8. Lord Chaitanya's explanation to the Brahmana how to discern. And so there's the characteristic is of Nityananda is one thing is consistent, although the behaviors are inconsistent. Krishna is at the center, always, without exception. So even when Nityananda does something, goes into a liquor shop, it's not, we don't, same text, we don't condemn that because we understand of his transcendental nature. He's not going for the purpose of becoming intoxicated. He's going for the purpose of delivering persons in that liquor shop. So there's a purpose, an intention, and a consistency throughout his life, going in that same direction of Krishna's at the center. Anukulyena Krishnadushilanam. And Avaduta is Anukulyena Krishnadushilanam. And what Brahma did was different. So that's a simple answer. Who's at the center? And consistently over time, always, 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 Krishna's at the center. Yeah, but let's before you pipe up. We want to follow up with your question.
In the actions of Brahma, Krishna was not at the center, clearly. Yet the 6 demigods were still punished. The 6 demigods were still punished for laughing at Lord Brahma.
Yeah.
Is this because even though Lord Brahma made this mistake before this point, he was still, or even after, I guess, he was still a great Vaishnava and had performed.
So let's go to the 6, not just to Lord Brahma, to the 6. If what was being described by Lord Chaitanya to the Brahmana is an exalted personality, if defiled, there's consequences. So the question with the 6 is they weren't consistently on an elevated platform, and they made they made a mistake. But so and Brahma, so the Nityananda is in this exalted category, and don't make the mistake of defiling, because there's consequences for defiling an exalted personality like Lord Nityananda, or there's consequences for defiling a great personality like Lord Brahma. Lord Nityananda and Lord Brahma are not equal, but there's consequences for defiling an exalted personality. So now back to your question, how do you just determine who's the exalted personality and who's the avaduta? That's your question. So those 6, they were punishable, and they were punished. Now, is it possible that they may not have been punished that way? Sure. But some consequence comes to one who makes that mistake of offending a great Vaishnava. Nityananda is not just a great Vaishnava. Lord Brahma is a great Vaishnava. There's consequences of disgracing or laughing, as the language says. They didn't even, point fingers and say, na 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 na. They didn't do that. But there were consequences. And in the case of those consequences, they got a lot of mercy. So that's another point. When a great personality scolds, there's benediction within that scolding. Nityananda kicking Shivananda saying him in the chest. Because it was a benediction. Or Lord Nityananda placing his foot on Raghunath Das's head and scolding him. You're hiding. You're cheating. You're this and you're that. But it is benedictory. His intention and the outcome is like that. And all of his pastimes are filled with that kind of an outcome. The thieves that wanted to come and rob him and plunder him, he gave his benediction to them. Jagai Madhai, etc., etc., etc. So that there's a power for those that are so qualified, and they can deliver mercy even when it looks otherwise. But circle back to your question. How do you discern? Krishna's at the center. And then you look at the big picture, not just an event in the big picture of someone's life, and Krishna's always at the center, always. Consistently. And one may not understand it. That's okay. Wait a while and in the big picture, it likely will become clear. For a qualified person, you want to discern.
Gautam.
Yeah.
Gautam.
Yeah.
According to Prabhupada.
Yeah.
And then another point also, if somebody, like if I commit something and you really, Maharaj has a lot of affection for me, and you will go your way to protect me. So like Lord Shiva, when he saw this, his father Brahmaji did that, he came with trident and stopped. Father, what are you doing? And then Brahmaji turned around and he realized, oh, I did a big mistake, that I went after Bhagdevi, his own daughter. So that's Shiva type of personality who sees the future is not good, he can correct. And he has the ability. Other personality, Marichi, he also saw that episode took place. And Prabhupada appreciated that. I remember that he prayed to the Lord, I'm so bewildered. How could my father act like this? That going after his own daughter. So he prayed to the Lord, please, my Lord, protect him also. Let me understand why this kind of illusion bewildering even to my father. But his sons, the 6 sons, they represent lust, greed, anger, madness, illusion, because the same came as a sons of Devaki. So they did not have any knowledge about how to respect, even though their grandchild, they just laughed and just criticized. That's why they immediately got cursed. So Prabhupada appreciate we should be, I don't remember the exact sentence, but Prabhupada said we should be like Marichi. We should pray if we don't understand some big personality has some fault or other. We should pray and for Lord to reveal the truth to us instead of me judging that person or take charge to punish that person or criticize that person.
Behind you?
There is so many issues that very advanced senior devotees are in conflict about.
No.
And to lend an ear to any of that, on any of those topics,
Mind gets spun, right?
one just really comes to the point of maybe I'm just thinking, I don't know anything. And I'm trying to learn by hearing those opposing sides. But then you say, and then I'm thinking, but each one of them are trying to please Srila Prabhupada in spreading the movement in their way, or in the way they. I mean, Prabhupada took off from the Gaudium, from that. So there's just so much of that going around. So
I'm waiting for the punchline.
I don't have one. I'm sorry, but I'm just realizing this fault finding thing, and it appears they're fault finding the other.
Yeah.
And then you're compelled to take sides, and to feel
To win an argument by fault finding is a fool's program.
I see, yeah.
So it putting forward, a compelling argument without fault finding the other side. That's perfectly fine.
That's valuable.
And with the intention, I want to arrive at truth with a capital T. I want that which is going to be pleasing to Krishna. That's what I want. And with that intention, there could be many outcomes. There could be multiple paths to please Krishna. Here he comes.
He's going to offer dandavats.
This boy's not shy. Okay, next room. Okay.
I don't have anything more to say. I'm just kind of expressing.
Okay, you're just sharing. It's not easy to discern, but a symptom to keep on your radar screen, your intelligence filter, is in making points this side, that side. Is the springboard faulting the other party because they don't adhere to my view, and here's why they're at fault. The fault finger pointing or fault finding is not necessary to make a strong, clear argument. That's all. That's all my comment on, it's a social phenomenon that happens. Others? Yeah. Online, go ahead.
How do we develop the relationship with Lord Nityananda? Because the song says, if we don't develop that relationship, we are like animals.
Yeah. Well, the mode and mission of Lord Nityananda, and you become, adherent of the mode and mission. And then how do you do that? There are persons who are doing that, and you work with them or associate with them or serve them or assist. And assist the mood and the mission of. Now, the mood of his associates were avadutas. So it's not like you, in order to have a friendship or a proper relationship, you also have to become avaduta-like. That's not, you may be a very careful adherent of norms of social behavior. At the same time, the mission of expanding and so forth. Because that was an assignment given to him directly by Lord Chaitanya, with this group of 5 men going here and there, and they did it very effectively, as he did. We do. So say the same thing in a different way. Srila Prabhupada was one such person. Like this thing of door to door and encouraging people to chant Krishna's name. So we can do that, and that's become one who does that has a relationship with Nityananda. You're assisting him, and that which was the service given to him by Lord Chaitanya, or as was given to our founder Acharya and given to the rest of us. You do that. That's a relationship with Nityananda. In his instructions and the deity form, etc., we worship Gaura, and not just in a mechanical fashion, but in a devotional fashion, praying to Nityananda, praying toward the mercy of Lord Chaitanya, to be able to have the strength and the intelligence and everything needed to carry forward the Sankirtan mission. And depending upon our capacity, one will be more recognized, like Prabhupada was, more so superlatively recognized and very, very empowered. So, online question. Anyone else? Yes.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj. Thank you for the class. We were hearing in the bhajan and throughout the lectures also that without Lord Nityananda's mercy, we cannot receive Lord Chaitanya's mercy. And there are many other bhajans that go like that, like Tulsi prayers where like, without your mercy, like please, like there's Tulsi Marani, then there's other prayers where they're saying without this person's mercy, you cannot attain Krishna, that person's mercy. And then we always have like this emphasis before festivals that, oh, okay, now we're focusing on Nityananda Prabhu. And then when Gaur Purnim comes, okay, now we're really focusing on Gauranga Mahaprabhu. So it feels like there's a lot of different times and a lot of emphasis on different personalities. And sometimes I feel lost. I don't know how to be praying, what my mindset should be as a whole. So I was just wondering what advice you would give.
I think you didn't articulate the question, but I got the question. One simple solution: be with people that are very simple in their approach and their assessment, both the intellect and their assessment. If you're a simple person, just associate with simple people because they'll help you keep it simple. And keep it simple. One of the ways to keep it simple is there's the tattva, and then there's persons that are bearing or carrying the tattva. A little bit like this question of the 6 Goswamis and Lord Nityananda, or you take any one of the 6 Goswamis or any one exalted person, and we honor this exalted person, but they're connected to something. You see that they're deriving some strength or some power, something from that ultimate source personality. So, while we're honoring Rupa Goswami, or while we're honoring, whoever the person is that we're honoring. Just recently, it was Gopal Bhatta Goswami's and then make that connection with where are they coming from. What is it that they're doing, and what's the ultimate authority above them? And at least and then that's within our line. And then you go outside our line, and there's others that honor some other personality that aren't directly connecting to Lord Chaitanya and our line of authorities. But we can respect them, but our special faith goes to that which is within our line. Special regard, special faith, special affection, special connection. Naturally so. Naturally so. While respecting others that have their line and their mood and so forth, provided it's in accord with their disciplic succession. respect, but we have affinity so the affinity is under the authority of, under the disciplic succession of, or the tattva of. So Lord Nityananda is a very, very important person because of the Guru Tattva principle that he's the originator of. We'll hear that further as we go forward. I think that's class number 5 of these classes, this series. What does that mean, Guru Tattva? He's the embodiment of Guru Tattva. What does that mean? Then other persons are connected to that. Oh, we may not be explicit, we can understand they're connected. They're deriving strength from that Tattva, who he's the Lord of. Okay. Yes.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Everybody here, I can hear.
Thank you, Maharaj, for the wonderful lecture. It was really amazing. I was just thinking of that one slide you had, which was, when does Chaitanya Mahaprabhu come? And it's more of a comment and a thought, and maybe if you can speak on that. It says that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes when the devotees are lovingly taking Krishna's name. And I was just thinking of the Narottam Das Thakur's pastime in Khetri when he built the temple and everyone was there. Janva Mata was also there. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came, and also Lord Nityananda came. And then I was thinking that you need to have the eyes to see that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is coming. So I'm sure he's coming even now in Kali Yuga, when people are purely chanting his holy name. So that's just the pastime that went into my head. That was the wonderful pastime described in, I think, Sitala Mataji's book, on Narottam Das Thakur. And just with that slide, it reminded me of that pastime and how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes when we chant purely. So just a comment and thought.
Okay, nice comment. When. And it's not even with qualification, and it's a sign that you're not qualified because it doesn't happen. It's just, it's a combination, qualification and descending mercy. And it may or may not happen.
Thank you.
When the Lord decides, then he decides. And unqualified persons can also be recipients.
Yeah, in that specific pastime, actually, it describes that everyone saw Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda, all their associates. Every single person in that assembly saw them. So that was, yeah.
Well, he can make himself visible.
Thank you.
Okay. Srila Prabhupada ki or Premanand